So I have taped down my paper and I'm using the reference sketch that I did earlier. I'm going to just mark in where the land comes down at the bottom here. And then just lightly where the trunk is going to be. Now that's all I need to draw in. Then I'm going to take my wash brush. Now you need a brush that's going to hold plenty of pigment and plenty of water, and I'm using a mop brush here. So I'm going to mix up nice rich colour. I'm using Artist Watercolour Windsor Violet. The equivalent would be the watercolour Cotman range by Winsor & Newton, and it would be called Dioxazine Violet. It's the same colour. And then I'm just going to lay on my wash here. As you can see, a nice rich colour, so you really need to load your brush up with pigment. This will give you the best effect with the salt. There we are, and then straight away I'm going to put on the salt. Now the salt I'm using here is the same as cooking salt, but it's sea flakes rather than the grain. And I'm just going to use my picture on the left here for reference, and I'm just going to pop in what would be where the frosty leaves would be on the crown of the tree. I don't want to bung loads on because otherwise it kind of destroys the effect. You want something spectacular but not too overwhelming. That's it, and then I'm going to leave that to dry naturally. Okay, so the salt is dry now, and the paint is dry, and now it's safe to now start rubbing this salt away. So you can rub it lightly with your finger. And then just move it off to the side. You'll find some bits really stick on, so you can use an old credit card and just slowly and gently scrape that off there. So what the salt has done is soaked up the paint and the water and left behind these little white star leaf shapes. Where the paint and water was wetter, you get larger shapes, and where it's slightly dry, you get smaller shapes. Now that's lovely because you get a whole variety of sizes. So that's done now. Now what you can do is take a clean eraser and very gently rub the white areas, and they get brighter. This has to be absolutely bone dry for this to work, otherwise you start moving paint around and get all sorts of problems. And because it is quite a heavy paper, it's not affecting the surface of the paper at all. I think that looks glorious. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fill in the tree shape here. So let's get this into the bin. I'm going to use this as my guide, Now you can draw it in first if you wish, or you can just go straight for it with some paint. Now I'm going to use sepia and a sort of a fairly small brush. And just block in the trunk here. And this branch comes up over here. So now I'm going to go in between these leaf shapes with my branch. Okay, I stepped back just a little bit there and had a little look at it again. I'm just going to thicken this little bit here to support this here. That branch there, that's a little bit better. Bit of tidying up really, that's all. I mean, you can really go for it with this. You can get thinner and thinner branches. You can just keep it really, really simple. And now what we need to do is make a little bit of a shadow here. And I'm going to use a mix of burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. What that makes is a lovely sort of grey on the bluer side. what we do is just, it's like a little bit of shadow really, and then with a bit of clean water underneath, just pick up that line I've just painted. That's it, and that's that exercise complete.